So, fade my picks from last week. I was 2-10. The good thing for me is I get to start fresh on the second half side of it for our picks. So now we'll just look at it as we normally would, and we'll try to go through this, and hopefully I'll do better than 2-10. But if I continue to do bad, you can just fade my picks, and then you make money. So, neutral site game in Germany, it's Tampa Bay and Seattle. Tampa Bay, because of the division that they're in first place, but Seattle also is as well when you're going against the Rams, the Cardinals, and the 49ers. I think Seattle's the better team, and they're also getting points. I like Geno Smith and Kenneth Walker. I know Tom Brady had that game winning drive last week. I don't know if it's enough for me to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so I'm going to go with the Seahawks and the 2.5 points. Kansas City, they're hosting Jacksonville, and they have to lay 9.5. I know Kansas City didn't look too good last week, although they did win against Tennessee Titans in overtime. 9.5 sounds like a lot. I'm predicting a little bit of a bounce back there for Kansas City. I know Trevor Lawrence and that defense can keep most teams in check. Kansas City is a whole different animal. I expect the bounce back. So give me the Chiefs. They have to lay 9.5. The Giants, the Meadowlands, they're hosting the Houston Texans. They have to lay 6.5. Look, the Giants still got a lot to play for. Wildcard positionings can be difficult because you have the Dallas Cowboys and you also have the Philadelphia Eagles. I haven't even lost a game. So the Giants are third. They're in a very competitive NFC East. For Houston, they don't really got much to go for right now, so I think the Giants can cover that 6.5 when they need to. So give me the Giants. Pittsburgh and New Orleans. Pittsburgh getting 2.5 as they welcome New Orleans. I don't know which way to go on this one because honestly, Alvin Kamara could run all over that and screw the whole game plan up if I go ahead and take Pittsburgh. But New Orleans isn't a very good team. Pittsburgh isn't a very good team, but Pittsburgh is at home getting 2.5. I'll just take the points and see what happens on that side. Chicago and Detroit. So I don't want to base a lot of things on 1 week, but I guess this pick I'm going to base on 1 week because when you think about the quarterback situation that you have between Justin Fields and Jared Goff, one's been good, one's been not so good. And between Justin Fields, last week he was a maniac running the football and getting some throwing situations. And also for Detroit last week, they dominated Green Bay on the defensive side of things. But Green Bay is kind of like the NFL version of the LA Lakers right now. So I don't want to base too much on 1 week, but based on the 1 week for Chicago, I'm going to take them at Soldier Field, having to lay 3.5 points. I think they'll cover that against the Lions. Miami and Cleveland. Cleveland gets 4.5 as they have to travel to Hard Rock Stadium. Here's the situation for Miami. It's Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle. Who's been stopping them with that aerial attack? Cleveland's got that good running game against an awesome aerial attack. It should be fun to watch. I think Cleveland keeps it close, and this could be a regrettable decision on my part, but I will take the Dolphins. So Buffalo, they're at home against Minnesota. Minnesota gets 6.5. I've seen this flip anywhere between 3 and 6, depending on Case Keenum and all that. I imagine Josh Allen with the elbow is going to start. Even so, a little banged up. Minnesota, I wouldn't say they need this game more than Buffalo does because the division's a lot more competitive on that side. But Minnesota also needs to show something. They're 7-1, but I think a lot of these teams are not really thinking Minnesota's too dangerous. I seen the spread go to 3.5. I get 6 in my opening line. I'm going to take the Vikings and the points, although I could regret that one. Tennessee and Denver, I'll admit to you, this one is going to be difficult to choose, and if you had to pick one, I wouldn't. In terms of Tennessee, they're at home. Denver lays 3.5. Give me the Titans only because they have the best player on the field in Derrick Henry. This should be a low-scoring game, and Denver probably can stay within that number because I don't know who's going to be available either for Malik Willis or Ryan Tannehill. And you can go on the other side between Russell Wilson. He's not playing all that great either. So when you think about it, I'll just go with the team with the best player. So give me the Tennessee Titans. I think they cover there with the help of Derrick Henry. Although that Denver defense is really good. So we have the Vegas Raiders and the Indianapolis Colts. So Vegas has had some like 21-point leads, and then they've seen those just completely deteriorate. So that would kind of make me believe that Vegas thinks they can get out to a big spread against the Indianapolis Colts. But because of those situations, I don't know if I trust Vegas to be able to actually have a spread this big. And I know the Colts aren't a really good team, but they're getting 6.5 points. Call me crazy. I'm going to take the points. I'm going to take the Colts because I think the spread's a little bit too big. So the Rams and Arizona, the Rams will welcome Arizona. It's 3.5 that they have to lay. In the sense of take your pick between Matthew Stafford and Kyler Murray. Both of them are injured and questionable in this game, although Sean McVay says 95% Stafford will probably be good to go, but it'll be a half hour before a game time decision. Both these teams stink. I'd fade this pick. I wouldn't pick it unless I had to. And because I have to, I'm going to take the Rams. I'm going to take the home team. Maybe they cover 3.5 points, but I don't feel confident either way, depending on which team I would pick. I don't like it at all. So Dallas and Green Bay. Green Bay getting 5.5 as they're at home against Dallas. Look, they just got embarrassed by Detroit. I know it was a low-scoring game, but you lose to Detroit, that's embarrassing. Dallas, they're the much better team right now. Green Bay is due for a bounce back, but I don't see it. Not against the Dallas Cowboys. I think they comfortably cover the 5.5 on the road. San Francisco and the LA Chargers at 7.5. San Francisco, with Christian McCaffrey, they've looked pretty good in there from last week because didn't he throw a touchdown pass, catch a touchdown pass, and also rush for one? And they have the game-breaking weapons. The LA Chargers, that does sound like a lot of points, but they're really beat up, and that's why it's 7.5. Give me the 49ers at home. I think they cover that number. And this leaves you to the Monday night game, and this is where I'll get a little crazy here. Between Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders, Commanders are getting 11.5 points as they travel to Philadelphia. I understand Philadelphia is undefeated, and I also understand that Philadelphia is going to win this game. But I think that number is a little too high for my liking at the 11.5. I'm going to take the points. I think Washington might lose by 13 or 14 maybe, but that 11.5 is too much for a maybe for me to go away from it. So I will take the Commanders. And for my total points between the Lions game and the Chicago Bears, I'm just going to go 38. I'm going to say it's ugly. I'm going to say Detroit struggles again. And it's going to be a big running day there for Justin Fields as they cover the 3.5. Those are my picks for Week 10. I will see you all next week. Peace out, everybody.